Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Eve Marquis. I'm an acrylic mixed media artist based in New Hampshire in the United States, and today I thought I would share a little bit about my new collection, the Winterberry series. It was actually, I had just finished working on a series called Marshscapes, and I was wanting to do a little bit something different, and so I went to my inspiration book. This is something that I created during a CVP in 2002 when I took that, the Creative Visionary program with Nicholas Wilton. Fantastic program. If you ever get the opportunity to take it, definitely do. I never went to art school, so it was like art school in 12 weeks. It was fabulous. So anyway, but one of the things Nicholas encouraged us to do was to create a vision board of what inspires us. And instead of putting it in a board, I put mine in a book. And so I went to my book just to look at some pictures of the things that I like. What inspires me, you know, color obviously inspires me, and animals and things like that. And as I go in deeper to the book, I came across, you know, I'd already been doing some animals and other things, so I came across winterberries, and since it was the middle of the winter when I started that here, I decided yeah, maybe I would do that and start experimenting with winterberries and see if I could create a painting around the winterberry thing. Now, I didn't necessarily start out thinking that I was going to do a series. I just started out with the idea that maybe I might paint some winterberries. And sorry, my kitty was in my lap and I've got hair all over from him. But anyway, so it's winterberries. I went to my little book for some inspiration and I decided to give it a shot. So most of my work now starts very abstractly. I usually just start painting layers on, I work a lot in panel board or sometimes canvas. So I just start, you know, messing around with color. It's actually the fun part of most every painting is that beginning where I just allow myself to play and put on whatever color feels good and experiment with mark making and, you know, just messing around on canvas. So this is the very beginning of the painting that I'm going to show you next. The beginning, you can't see any winterberries there, but this is the first layer. I'm sorry, there might be a better way to show this, but I haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, so that has how this painting that I'm going to show you started out. And I typically work on several at the same time. So another one that I was working on had a very colorful background. I put some white glaze on it and then I scratched, actually using one of these little skewer sticks, scratched at the surface to reveal some of the color and make it kind of look like branches. So anyway, I just love visual texture and the layering of colors and then scraping away and seeing color underneath. So again, that's how this painting started. And then I just, let's see if I have another one here that shows sort of the evolution. Oops, sorry about that. Hold on one second. It is, oh, right here. Okay. So basically, once I decided to start covering it up, so I put some trees in the background, and as you can see, it's just starting to develop. Now, these are 4 different paintings that I was working on at the same time, and I will eventually show them all to you, but this is the one that I'm going to show you next. So this is actually how the painting came out. And what I love about this particular painting, this is called Winterberry Walks. As you can see, there's a little walking path that leads up to a cabin, a couple big, beautiful winterberries in the foreground. But some of the things I love about this painting is that if you can see it up close, you see up here, there's a very soft imagery of trees in the background and little hints of turquoise behind that. And it looks like there's a lot of texture, but if you feel it, it feels very slightly bumpy, but not a lot. So I love when you're up close to the painting, there's things to look at. And then obviously when you step away from the painting, you get a little bit of a story going on here. I also love how there's teal up in here, and then it's also reflected down on the lower level where the snow is. And then I used it to help create the footprints in the snow. One of my favorite things of this painting, though, is that I had pretty much got the landscape, or the basic landscape, done with the two bushes and sort of this field and then the trees up ahead. I didn't have the cabin and I didn't have a walking path. I was toying with the idea of putting some cardinals maybe in the foreground, or a bunny or something like that, since I love animals. But I wasn't quite feeling it. So what I did is I posted the picture, the work in progress on my Facebook, my social media, Facebook and Instagram, and asked for suggestions. And I love it. Anytime I do that, my friends and Facebook friends chime in with suggestions. And so one of my friends, April, suggested that I put a cabin up there. So I'm like, I'll give that a shot. So I put a cabin up there. And then someone else suggested footprints. And I'm like, I've never done footprints. Can I do footprints? So I pulled up some reference images and I just gave it a shot, creating footprints. And I think it came out delightful. So I was super happy with this painting, and it has an extra special place in my heart just because, people, suggested things to put in it, and I was able to incorporate it, and that just makes me happy. Sometimes they suggest things and I can't always incorporate, or I'm just not feeling it, and but other times they do, and I just love it when I can. So it feels like a little bit of a co-creation there. So again, that's a couple of things I love about this painting. And this one is called Winterberry Walks. Okay. So the next one is let's see if I can find the picture of this one. So the early stages, I think that's that one. Nope. So I think the early stages of this one is this image up here. Let's see if I can find a bigger version of that. Sorry. Yeah, here you go. So it looked like that. That was the initial layers of this next painting. And I didn't want every painting to be, a typical landscape. So with this one, I decided, how about showing some winterberries up close? And let's see what I could do with that one. So this is how that painting came out. And I call this one Winterberry Joy, because to me, these winterberries just look so joyful against the turquoise and blue sky, with kind of alluding to a snowy background. Charlie, the cat's gonna tip over my paintings. And it's just, I love the colors, with the reds against that turquoise and blue, and then the sort of snowy, misty background. And again, when you see this painting up close, you just can see the hints of where I scrape away or smudge away paint. My process of painting is adding things and subtracting things, and really just messing around until I get that feeling, till the painting. One of my friends at the studio where I'm at Art up Front Street, she's an abstract painter, and someone asked her, how do you know when your painting's done? And she said, her name is Ree Catrick, and she said, I know when a painting's done when it makes my heart sing. And I'm like, that was brilliant, because I'm like, how do you know? Well, I always know when a painting makes my heart sing, and that one did. And so that one's called Winterberry Joy. And then this next painting is called Winterberry Friends. I feel like the two bushes are friends. And again, it has the woods in the background. I'm loving the teal with the reds and against the snow, and then it's repeated in the foreground. There's just a lot of yummy texture and things going on in the painting that make you want to look at it up close and then far away. And the wonderful thing about these paintings is they make a beautiful vignette all together as well. And I also like how, this bush is just a little bit more prominent. This one's a little quieter, but it leads you to a little hint of red and then circles back into the painting. So your eyes are just always going exploring within this painting, and this is just a place that I would love to be. So I could go pick some winterberries and maybe bring a few indoors. And that one's called Winterberry Walks. Okay, and then this last one, I don't know if I have. Okay, so is that the beginning of that one? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to find how this one started. Not sure I have it. Well, I'm not sure I have the beginning, but they all start, like I said, with lots and lots of colorful layers beneath it. So it might have been this one. So it might have started out like this. Whoops. You know, I had lots of blue going on in the background, but I wasn't really feeling having that become a spray of winterberries. So when I got to that stage, then I just decided to take a sort of go in a different direction. Totally. And this is how the painting evolved. It got to a stage at a point at one place where I just didn't think I was going to be able to you know, resolve it. I didn't like where it was going. You know, this, you can kind of see that's a little bit of the work in progress from, you know, the prior part of the painting. Is that, or is that a different painting? It's kind of hard to do. Oh, so there. Sorry, bear with me 1 minute here. So is that it? Yeah, okay. All right. So you can see at some point I got it to that stage, still not loving it. They kind of look almost like winterberry trees to me. And then I got to this next phase where I decide, you know what, I'm just going to put some birch trees on it because that's my other favorite thing. So you can see here, I start to put birch trees over it. And I'm like, I'm starting to dig it now. So when I stepped back as I was working on this and the birch trees were coming to life with the winterberries on the side, I was just falling in love with this painting. And it was funny because out of the four, it was the one I liked the least. So sometimes, you know, working sort of intuitively, you know, I just had a general idea I wanted winterberries in the painting, and I wanted each one to look a little different. I didn't want them to look all samey. And I sort of just follow the cues of the underpaintings that I create to see where it wants to go. And when I added the birch trees along with the winterberries, my head just about exploded. So two of my favorite things together on one canvas. It was awesome. But the other things I love about this painting is just there's lots of yummy layering and visual texture. You know, the hint of winterberries behind the birch tree here with ghosty images of, you know, the bush behind it, but also this sort of light green, yellow and golden background in the backdrop that leads up to that teal and blue. Again, I love color, so I'm not afraid to put color where it doesn't even have to be whatever the normal color would be. If it works for me, I just put the color in here. Like, you usually don't see teal in the ground outside, but I like how it brings your eye and it carries it full circle from up in the top down into the bottom with a foreground. So I just love bringing some of that pop of color into the foreground. So even the ground in the foreground just has beautiful, delicious texture and visual texture and layering that I just love. And this one, because I love winterberries and birch trees, I called this one Match Made in Heaven. And I loved this one so much that I ended up having this is a 12 by 12 size, and it's framed and, you know, ready to hang. You know, in a floating frame. But I love this one so much that I decided to have it scanned and upsized to a 24 by 24 painting, and that's hanging in my living room because I just had to have that one for myself too. But these are the original there. So I hope you enjoyed a glimpse into the series of 4 I have so far. I have a couple more that I'm working on. I'm kind of excited to see where they'll go. One of them I'm really struggling with right now. It was in a beautiful space in retrospect, and I kind of killed it. So now I'm gonna experiment with seeing if I can bring it back, maybe in a new way. We'll see. Nothing is ever ruined. It's acrylic paint. I can always paint over it. I'm just not sure this one's ready to be packed in totally yet or not. We'll see. But there'll be a few more coming, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you ever have any questions, please message me or reach out in any way. I'm always good about getting back to folks. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear what they are. And thanks for watching.